Hey guys, Jonathan from jwaltphotography.com, and today we're going to be doing a field test review of the Nikon 300mm f4D IF-ED AFS. We are going to be putting the 300mm to the test today to see if we can get the reach it takes to get tack sharp photos of animals that don't want to be photographed. Now our main focus on this is just going to be a day in the life of this lens and how I would use it if I were to go out and about in the field. To be honest, I bought this lens for portraiture, but I know a lot of people will be looking at it for its wildlife aspects. So I'm going to do a series of both. This is the first of the wildlife, and let's begin.
So right out of the gate, I noticed a really neat feature. It's got a built-in lens hood. This is neat. I hope it doesn't become an issue like the one with my Rokinon, where I broke it and I can't replace it, but it does retract back when I'm not using it, so that's pretty awesome. Another thing I've noticed right out of the gate, it does have the manual aperture ring, and if it's not set to the widest aperture, 32, or the narrowest aperture of 32, it'll actually give you an error on your lens. I see a deer over there, so I'm trying to be quiet. Let me get a little closer and we'll see what picture we can get. So that deer ran away, but I'm just gonna give you, oh, there's another one. There we go. I'm gonna try to get a shot of him. Wait for him to go in the opening over there. Yeah, those are pretty far away. A nice buck, but he's behind the road, so I won't be able to see him. Now on my Nikon, what I'll do sometimes to get better reach is I've got the function button set to put it in crop mode. So I'll show you what that looks like. I can just hit that, and then that gives me on this lens, a 400, what would that be? Yeah, 450 millimeter equivalent. So this image turns into this image. So it gives me a little bit more reach. Those deer are still so far away that I'm not gonna be able to get much on that. And again, they're probably 150 yards away. I've gone back out to the normal mode. I don't think these deer are gonna let me get very close. It's hunting season and they're well aware of it. There's shotguns going off in the distance. It's actually pheasant season, but they don't care. They hear a lot of loud noises and they want to get out of Dodge. So, but they got the lake over to that angle, so they really can't go anywhere. So I'm just gonna get kind of close to them, see if I can't see one crossing the road up here. I've seen about 60 of them so far. And hopefully we can get close enough to show you some detail in them. I just saw a lot of them back there too. I'm just going to take a photo of something for you so you can see the sharpness and the fast of focus. So I'm going to just focus on this tree back here, and there's like a grill over here I'm going to take a photo of real quick. And so that's the image I get from that. Again, I'm probably shooting a little high on the ISO. I got it at 1/800th of a second. So if a deer jumps or runs, I should be able to see it. But let's go back over here and see if we can't see anything cool to shoot at. Maybe some birds or something. Coming up to the shoreline here, I'm hoping to find some birds or some type of wildlife. And again, I'm just doing how I would typically use this lens. You might shoot portraits with it or whatever you want. But man, that wind is so cold. Let's see. Okay, so I'll just take a picture of one of these cattails from here, probably about 20 yards from it. And you can see, yeah, just incredible detail on that. That's at f4 too. Let me stop it down a little. I'm going to go to f5.6. Lower my shutter speed. Yeah, so honestly about the same detail at f4 and f5.6 on that. It's pretty thin to begin with. I don't want the only bird or animal I see to have a big old lens flare across it. I'm just going to take a picture. There's some towers across the water. While I'm waiting for some type of wildlife. I'm just going to show you how sharp and how close you can get to that. That's a little blown out. So they're pretty far across there though. That's probably 2 miles or so away. Okay, got a deer running across the road. A lot of them actually. They're still a little far away. They're about 150 yards. A little dark. So the deer are pretty spooked and they're staying away from just about everything right now. But I'm going to go ahead and take a shot of like these numbers just so you can see the sharpness again. You can actually see how well it blurs out the background too. It's got some nice bokeh on it, even at f4. I know a lot of people think you can only achieve that at, you know, whatever, but with 300 millimeters, you'd be able to get bokeh at like, however, whatever f-stop you used. Let's try that theory out. 3 stops up, that's a f11, and I still have bokeh in the background. So put it back. I'm gonna scoot up a little bit. You can see just how incredibly sharp that is. I'll zoom up right on the 8 for you. Man. Yeah, let's go try to find something that's not assigned to shoot. Right now I'm about to take a picture of anything just to get something wildlife in the shot. The reason I chose this spot is because it's usually super easy to find stuff. But I guess with all the hunting around, you know, less than a couple miles away, every few minutes you hear a big pop. I guess it's just got all the animals spooked. So I'm going to retreat to my car and have my wife drive around slowly because these deer are just too spooked. And I don't want to cause them any more stress than what they already have. I walked about 3 miles in circles trying to get a shot of one of these boogers and they're not having it. So I'm just going to get in the car and drive around and hopefully I'll spot one by the side of the road or crossing the road and I'll be able to stop and take a picture real quick. So let's see how that goes. Now so far what I can say is compared to my 150-600 from Sigma, you got to be really close to stuff with the 300 millimeter. I mean, it's right in between. The good thing is I can easily handhold this. It's not that heavy of a lens to where my 150-600 was just so heavy. But at the same time, I don't care how heavy it is if I get the shot. With the 150-600, I was able to shoot straight through that stuff. For wildlife, 150-600 all day long. But I'm not giving up yet. I'm going to try to find something else that's a little bit closer, maybe mid-range, maybe something that's not so skittish, maybe some seagulls or something. Okay, so let's see how this thing does for portrait since my son wanted to get out of the car. That's actually not too bad. Hey Benny, look this way, bud. Look this way, I want to take a shot of you. It's not gonna flash. I've got my private chauffeur taking me on a trip. Hey, bud.
I see the fire.
That's cool. Oh, so overexposed.
Yeah, peanut fire.
So you can see he's 300 yards away. That was really far away. I knew I wasn't gonna be able to get close and fill the frame on him, but still some type of subject. That's the reason we're not seeing anything out here. These guys are shooting. So Melanie's driving like Richard Petty here. I'm trying to get a shot of a squirrel, and he just ran away. Stop, Mel. Oh, he's way back there. There's no way I'm gonna get a shot of him. Maybe I can. No, it's too dark. So I just missed that squirrel because of you. What do you got to say for yourself? Hey, there's another one. I'm gonna get that squirrel. You can slow down. Oh my God, we got a picture of a moving animal. I'm gonna do a drive-by shooting. I'll put this out. Let me test exposure. Looks good. That was a hard shot. I had to flip around. Oh, I went and spun the aperture ring. That's the one thing you got to be careful of on this lens. If you spin that aperture ring, you'll get an error and you won't be able to shoot an image. I'm going to take a picture of one of these big rigs passing, see how much we can freeze motion. That's them. Probably about 300 yards away right now. Oh, no. Get my camera pushed the wrong direction. Stop sign. Cool. I did that because I want to see how sharp the lettering and stuff is on there. Maybe they'll get some free advertising. Cool. Don't move. There's a guy fishing. I thought that'd be a cool photo. It's kind of wildlife-y. Probably don't have the best vantage point of it. It's so cold out here. I don't want to be fishing. I'm gonna lay on you, okay, bud?
I will hold it.
Melanie, go up a little bit. Let's get a different vantage. Okay, there's a guy coming in on a boat. I'm gonna get a picture of that. That's kind of wildlife.
Not having much luck with the deer, we decided to cut across the lake and see if we can have any better luck with some birds.
So I see some birds down there. Again, there's significant distance in between me and those birds, but I'm gonna try, just for the heck of it, to see how far away those are. Okay, now I'm gonna put it in crop mode. It's gonna be 1.5 times crop, and there's that. So those are the birds we're going after. We're gonna try to get there without them flying away too bad. They are already starting to fly away, and I've just barely gotten off the path. It's like they know what my focal distance is, and they're staying away from it. I wouldn't think that there'd be many snakes out here right now, but you never know, I guess. In the springtime and summer, this is actually where I come to take all my pictures of the snakes. Usually there's snakes every couple feet out here. It is beautiful though, even if I don't see a single anything, it's still fun being down here in it. So there's some birds up that way. I always usually come this way, then walk back that way. Let's see what we can't find. I found a caterpillar. This might be the most exciting wildlife I find all day. I'm gonna push him into the sun and I'm gonna take a picture of this bad boy. There I get back. Again, 300 millimeters, isn't it? There we go. Hey, little fella. There you go. And he fell. Awesome. In the meantime, I'm gonna try a snag shot. Crop sensor. Crop mode, here's full frame. These are great herons, and they don't like people, especially big people running after them with cameras. I'm trying to find footing, which isn't the easiest thing to do. This guy staying pretty calm. Crop mode, see how close I can get to that bad boy. And I'm shooting F4 right now. I'm checking my images. Actually turning up a bit soft, so I'm going to put it up to 5.6. He just looks cold. Okay, so that's a little sharper. I'm shooting at 1,000th of a second. I'm going to sit down in these rocks and just chill for a minute. Try to get a little bit more stabilized spot. There we go. Still not as sharp as I would like. I'm actually going to use my tripod stand. Better. Now, what I haven't thought about yet is that I could be running into autofocus fine-tune adjustment. So let me play with that a little bit while this guy's still here and see if I can't get better shots off that. It looks like I'm a little bit too close on the focus. Okay, so I set my autofocus fine-tune on this, and I'm glad I got a chance to sit down on a rock and actually hold my camera still to do this. Let me look at this. I actually had to put it on -10 because it was back focusing just a little bit, so I brought it closer at -10 on the fine tune. And now I'm going to show you what the focus looks like on that bird. Keep in mind that bird's still 100 yards away. It's still incredible distance. So I'm going to use the crop mode now so we can tighten it just a little. I'm glad he's standing so still for me to do this. And you can see it's a little bit sharper. Okay, so yeah, that one's really sharp, so trying to get the focus right on his eye at this distance is so hard. The dot is as big as his head. So it's kind of jumping to the background a tad after he gets a little bit more comfortable with me. See, my viewfinder, it looks perfectly sharp, and whenever I zoom in, again, I might be being a little too harsh on the zoom of this. I'm trying to zoom into a bird that's 2 feet tall from 100 yards away, and it's not perfectly sharp for me. But again, this is only 300 millimeter lens. It's not a 600. I'm used to being able to hit them from this distance with my 150 to 600 Sigma, but I hate carrying that big old thing down these rocks. As you can see, this isn't the easiest path to get to. So I'm just going to sit here and try to hope something lands a little closer to me and see if we can't get a picture there. Grab a fish or something out of the water, that'd be cool. Yeah, I'm still pretty satisfied with the sharpness on this. Now that I've got that dialed in. If I get a little closer, I'll be able to really tell. Let me take a picture of a rock or something and see. Focus right on the back spot of that rock. Okay, so I fine-tuned it a little bit more, and I am now at a -6. I think I pulled it just a little too far. I'm gonna take another shot of this blue heron, or the great heron. Let's see how that works. Okay, yeah, that is much sharper. I will tell you, this lens is getting heavy for trying to hold it up. You're probably seeing a little bit of shake in the video, but it's starting to get heavy. I'm gonna try to get a little closer to that bird, see if I can't get something down there. There's several birds down there, so I'm gonna get a little closer, maybe get him in flight, and then that's probably gonna be it for this, because this lens is starting to get heavy. I've been carrying it around for about 2 hours now without a tripod, so we'll see how close we can get. And there he goes. Here's one over here, just chilling in the weeds. Now that's actually really sharp. Let me center it up. It focuses so fast, sometimes I question whether or not it even focused. You're looking right at me. Hopefully I don't fall in the water. There's about a 50% chance that I'm gonna break my ankle. Either I will or I won't, I guess. This is not the easiest terrain to navigate. I'm trying to get one of these even flying. I'm not 100% sold on this lens for the idea of wildlife photography yet. It tracks really fast. I'm using continuous focus because they're moving a lot. I'm still just not getting the reach that I need to get the shots that I want to get. Put it in crop mode. But I mean, it is sharp in what I'm getting. So there's some good contrast there. Let me see if any of those are in focus. Yeah, with him flying, that nailed focus pretty good. It is sunnier than it was out here earlier, so that's always a plus. Ninja jump. These birds definitely keep their distance, and they warn all the other birds by making huge, loud cawing sounds. It's tough to get to them. Not quite as difficult as it was to get near a deer, though. There it goes. Okay.
Well, that's going to do it for my Nikon 300mm f4 field review. Now, this was an incredible lens, and once I finally got it focused in and fine-tuned it, I ended up around -6, and then I started getting sharp images exactly like I had hoped. A few things I really like about this lens is once I got the autofocus system adjusted, it was tack sharp. Its autofocus is super fast, and it is a compact size for being a 300mm lens. A couple of the things that I'm not too fond of is going to be its weight along with the aperture ring. The weight of it does become a bit troublesome after a while, and the aperture ring is in a bad spot whenever you're holding it underneath to take your photos. You do occasionally hit the ring and make it to where you can't take photos. Overall, I would definitely recommend this lens, and I am so happy I got one myself. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.